Hi guys, my name is Buchi and welcome to my channel. And in this channel I upload videos about life as an immigrant in the UK, how you could also move to the UK and what you should expect if you do move to the UK. And in today's video I'm going to be talking about what you should expect if you're having a baby in the United Kingdom. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. So let's get to it. As for those of you who already know me or have previously subscribed to my channel or seen any of my previous videos, you will notice that I've been off for a while, and that's because that you can already guess from the way this video is going. I was pregnant and I recently had a baby. So I'm going to make like two separate type of videos on this issue. This one is going to talk about what to expect from having a baby in the UK generally, like just what you should expect if you're pregnant or you know someone who's pregnant and going to have a baby in England. And I'm going to make another video where I talk about my own personal experiences and what I thought of it all in a separate video. So the first thing you should do when you realize you're having a baby or when you're pregnant is to ring your GP. So that's like your private, like your regular hospital where you generally go to for family medicine, and you give them a call and tell them that you're pregnant, and they would probably ask you things like, oh, when was your last period, or when did you realize you were pregnant? And when they have that information, they will tell you that they'll get back to you, and in like 10 days to 2 weeks you should get a call from your midwife. So your midwife is basically going to attend to you throughout the entire pregnancy. So she'll give you a call, and then you guys will now discuss like a date for appointment where everything will be put on the table. So she'll probably introduce herself and you discuss when you can meet to just talk. So on the day of the appointment, she'll be asking you questions like when you missed your period, other things about your health, your background, just everything she will need to know, your genotype, your blood group, if you have a partner or you're handling the pregnancy alone, if you're okay. She would also give you like books on pregnancy that you could read through, and she would give you prenatal vitamins that you should be taking or that you'll be taking throughout the pregnancy, or even not throughout, or at least for the first few months. She would also talk about a screening blood test, and this blood test is optional, it's not compulsory, but for the test your blood will be taken to do a variety of tests on. So she'll ask you if you're happy to do the test, and if you are, you'll be booked for an appointment to do that test. Then also in the first trimester you would be booked for a 12-week scan. So you probably get a mail in the post, and it will contain your appointment for a 12-week scan. Now for the NHS, you only get to do 2 scans. So if you're having a baby in England under the NHS, you're only going to get to do 2 scans. The first scan is at 12 weeks and the second scan is at 20 weeks. So I'll just take it bit by bit. So the first trimester, second trimester, and the third trimester. So in the first trimester, like I said earlier, you have an appointment with your midwife where everything is talked about and like laid on the floor, and she gets to know you, you get to know her, and you create a rapport, and she asks like your basic information. She books you an appointment for your blood screening test if you're happy to do the screening test. She'll tell you what the test would contain as well. So this test would contain things like checking the chances of your baby having Down syndrome, Edwards syndrome, Patwa syndrome. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's spelled Patau. You also be checked for like your protein and hormonal level. You'll be checked for things like low PAPE, which is like a protein hormone, just checking like the hormones in your body and how your body is reacting to just pregnancy. So you just be checked for a number of blood screening tests. She would also inform you about your 12-week scan. And in this scan you go to the hospital and they will check how the baby is doing, how many babies you're having. So on the day of before the date for your scan appointment, you get a mail in the post, and this mail will tell you where to go to, when to go there, and what time your appointment is. So once you get there, you can go with your partner. So your partner does not have to be your husband or boyfriend. It could just be anybody that you've chosen. So you could go with your sister, your friend, or whoever, but just one person. And you can go in with your partner, and they will check things like, oh, how the baby is doing. If they are meeting the milestone, they ought to be meeting at 12 weeks, and if the baby is okay, and how many babies you're having. So after the scan, seen by a doctor who is going to assess just assess the ultrasound, and just advise you based on what they've seen in the ultrasound. So the advice is just going to be based on what they have seen in the scan. So for your blood screening test, after you've done the test, so when you have met your midwife, you should book an appointment for that test if you want to do that. And after you've done the test, you get a result in like 4 to 5 days of the test, and the results will tell you if your baby has a chance of any of those syndromes, or if they found anything with your blood that they should be worried about, or if everything is fine as well. Now, depending on the result from that test, and the result from the ultrasound as well, you'd be graded as either a high risk pregnancy or a low risk pregnancy. So if you're a high risk pregnancy, you'll be managed by both the midwife and the consultant. But if you're a low risk pregnancy, you'll be managed by just the midwife. So it's basically the same thing. It's just for high risk, like not only is the midwife checking out for you and looking out for you, you also have a consultant who you constantly see just as much as you see your midwife. So that's pretty much all that goes on in the first trimester. You get your scan done, and you get your blood screening test done, and you meet your midwife, and you get on your prenatal vitamins. So we'll move on to the second trimester. Now in the second trimester, nothing much really happens. You still get to see your midwife and your consultant if you're a high risk pregnant person, but I will just talk about pregnancy from a low risk pregnancy perspective. So you get to see your midwife every 3 weeks, and for each visit, she's checking how you're doing, how the pregnancy is progressing, how your womb is, if it's at the right point, or if it's going as it should. You just discuss any concerns, if you're okay, if you're handling pregnancy all right. So you get to see her just fairly regularly, and create a rapport, and just talk about what should be happening at that particular point in time of your pregnancy. Nothing really happens majorly throughout the pregnancy, throughout the second trimester, but towards the end of the second trimester, you'll be booked for a 20-week scan, the ultrasound as well. Now in this scan, you'll be able to see the sex of your baby if you want to. So they would offer to tell you the sex of your baby if you want to, and if you're happy to, they'll tell you what the sex of your baby is. And that's pretty much what is done. They also check if the baby is developing at the way they should be, if they are measuring all right, if they're okay, just like you'd expect from a regular baby scan. After the scan, you'll also be assessed by a doctor following the updates from that scan. Mind you, healthcare in the UK is free fully, so you don't pay for anything at all. It doesn't matter if you're a British citizen, an immigrant, a student, as long as it's healthcare, it is free for everybody. Also, I think I forgot to put this in the first trimester as well. From your meeting with your midwife, she would also send you like an exemption certificate. Now this exemption certificate means that you do not have to pay for prescriptions at all. So even though healthcare is free in the UK, you still have to pay for prescriptions. So when you see a doctor and you prescribe drug to you, you have to pay for that. I think it's about £9 to £10 for the drugs they prescribe. But when you're pregnant, you do not pay for drugs anymore, so you have that certificate. So that certificate lasts from the beginning of your pregnancy to 1 year after your due date. So it's almost like 2 years that you have that free prescription for, where you don't pay for anything. You also don't pay for dental checks. Talking about the second trimester, so what really just happens second trimester is you do your 20-week scan, where you get the sex of your baby if you want to. Your midwife would, after regularly seeing you every 3 weeks in your second trimester, would also give you a maternity certificate towards the end of your second trimester. Now this maternity certificate is what you would show to your employers that you're pregnant, so that they give you your maternity leave and start to arrange for your maternity pay once you've given birth. So you need a maternity certificate to give to your employers. Once you tell your employers you're pregnant, they would request for a maternity pay, so it's important that you have that. But not to worry, your midwife would already tell you about the maternity certificate and give that to you. I also thought it was important for me to put this here. I know that a lot of immigrants get to do like jobs that are 0 hour contract jobs. I think that's what it's called. So this just means that you're only paid when you work. So even if you are in a full-time employment, if you're in a 0 contract hour job, if you do not come to work for any reason, you do not get paid for the time you do not work. So it's 0 hours. So if you do not work, you don't get paid. So even if you are sick or something, as long as you are not present at work, you do not get paid. So that's how most 0 contract hour jobs work. And you find that a lot of immigrants have this type of contract because there are jobs that you can easily get while you're just trying to settle into the country. Now you should note that even though this 0 hour contract job, even though you are stuck with this 0 hour job thing, normally you would not be entitled to maternity benefits if this is the contract that you have with your employer. But please be aware that there's something called statutory maternity pay, which makes it compulsory for you to be paid even while you're away on maternity leave. Now, even though it's your employer that is paying you, it's actually the government that pays you, because the amount the employer pays you, they deduct it from their tax. So when they are paying their tax to the government, every money that the company pays you for statutory maternity pay is deducted from the tax. However, there are certain requirements for you to be entitled to this maternity pay. You should have been working up to a certain amount of, you should have worked a certain amount of time. I'm not sure what the figure is, but I'll put a link below where you can read through this if you're interested in that or know someone that can be affected by that. So you should be working for a certain amount of time with your employer, and you should still be in the employment 15 weeks before your due date of delivery. So if you meet those criteria, you will be entitled for statutory maternity pay. So it doesn't matter the job you are doing, even if you're a care worker, you're a customer service handler, as long as you are legally employed, you should be entitled to that pay if you have met the requirements. So please go through the link below and see if you've met the requirements, and if you have, do not forget to request for your statutory maternity pay. Nobody is going to tell you about that, so if you don't know, you do not know. Your employer will not offer to give you maternity pay if you are just in a regular 0 hour contract job. So they will not tell you about the statutory maternity pay. So this is something you have to inquire and find out and request for. So please do not forget about that. So at the end of 2nd trimester, you'll be given your maternity certificate and you'll do your 20-week scan where you get to know the sex of your baby. Now in the 3rd trimester, you'll be seeing your midwife fairly regularly. So it now progresses to, instead of 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, checks on how you're doing, the baby's okay, the baby's developing as they should. There are no more scans after the 12 weeks and the 20-week scans for low risk pregnancy. That's the only scan you get. You just get to see your midwife fairly regularly. I forgot to add this from the beginning. So from the moment you see your midwife and you discuss, from the first appointment with your midwife, she gives you a maternity book. So every time you see her or see a doctor or see any medical personnel as regarding your pregnancy, it's recorded in that book. So even every appointment you have, every scan you have done, every time you see any of them, you have that book. So you have that book throughout the entire length of your pregnancy. So every time you see her, she records something in the book. Every time you do a scan, it's recorded in the book as well, that you have throughout the length of your pregnancy. Now, as you progress to your 3rd trimester, your midwife will start to discuss with you what you expect from your delivery, what your birth plan is, what kind of delivery you would prefer. Do you want a water birth? What are your choices for painkillers? Now when it comes to painkillers, they will tell you that, oh, okay, so you can go from paracetamol to ibuprofen or cocodamol, which is a higher level of painkiller, and then you progress to gas and air and epidural. So gas and air is basically just something that, how do I describe it? It's literally what it means. It's like gas and air. So you have something that you put in your nose that you inhale, and it distracts you from the pain. It gives you that feeling of being like having too much alcohol and being tipsy. So it's not as if you're no longer feeling the pain. It's just something that goes on in your mind while you inhale the gas, and it distracts you from the pain. So it's really nice as well, and they offer that during delivery. So your midwife will be discussing with you, what's your preferred mode of painkiller during your third trimester. She would also ask you like what you expect from your delivery, and she'll tell you to also put that in your book. So if you have to go into spontaneous delivery, or somebody who hasn't met you before is handling your delivery, all they need to do is go through that book and they'll know what you expect from your delivery. I had a friend who in her book wrote things like, I want a water birth, I want candles around the water birth, I want soft music playing in the background, I only want people with positive energy. So if any nurses annoy me, I would not want the nurse or doctor to be there. I asked the doctor to go away. She even spoke about her concerns about being a minority black person and having a baby in England, and that she was concerned that there was a chance that there could be like institutional racism just somewhere around the corner. Like, these are all things you could write in your book, and these were things that was discussed between her and her midwife. So everything is on the table. Like, they would want to know what you expect, and they would do as much as they can to deliver as long as it's safe. They would also discuss things like, who's going to cut the placenta, who do you want to be with you during delivery, who's going to be your delivery partner. Now, if you're having a vaginal delivery, you can have 2 people in the room, but if it's a CS, you can only have 1 person in the room. So all of those things are discussed. Who do you want to be your partner? Who's going to cut the placenta? Do you want us to give your baby vitamin K? How do you want your baby to be delivered? Do you want the baby to be put on your chest, or do you want or not? Or do you want the baby to be cleaned before they are put on your chest, or they should not be cleaned first, just directly put on your chest? Every single thing about delivery that you can think of is discussed during the third trimester as you progress to your delivery time. It would also tell you to pack your bags, and then you can discuss your midwife what should be in your hospital bag. Now, from my experience, I have my baby in the UK, and I think every person that I know, the only thing that should be in your hospital bag is what you're going to wear, or what you have that will make you feel comfortable. Maybe like 3 to 4 outfits for your child, and that's pretty much all that you need. You don't really need to pack anything. You just pack what you need, like, to just feel comfortable. So like maybe a nice PJ or a nice outfit that you'd like to wear, and the outfit for your child. Every other thing is provided for you in the hospital, so you don't need to bring anything. You wouldn't need it. Now, if you're going to breastfeed, also you just go, because then milk will start coming out. But if you're going to use formula, you'll be asked to bring the formula that you'd like to use, so it's given to your baby. So that's really all like you need to pack in your hospital bag. However, people still pack other things, because you want to feel as comfortable as you can feel. Also, if you're having a vaginal delivery, you want to pack things that would make you feel comfortable. If you're going to buy a witch hazel, or anything that you can use in case you have a tear. But every other thing is provided in the hospital. So they'll give you pads, they have pampers for your child. You really don't need to pack anything in your hospital bag that is not like personal items. But there's nothing wrong with packing every other thing that you would need, or you think would be important for you. But ideally, and you don't have to worry about like buying things to take to the hospital, is what I mean. I remember when I asked my midwife like what I should pack, and she was like, pack your personal items and bring things like sweets and snacks to make you feel comfortable. So everything they advise you to bring is what will make you feel comfortable and make the process seamless for you. So your hospital bag is just basically your own personal items. You don't need to buy anything, and everything is provided by the hospital for free. Now, on the date of your delivery, or on the day you're having your baby, you usually alone. For delivery, you're usually alone in your delivery suite, just you, the doctor, and your delivery partner or partners. But after delivery, you're taken to a ward that could have other people in it. But for me, I had 3 other people in my ward, but it didn't feel like there were other people, because I had like a curtain that divided me from the next person, and so on and so forth. So you had like your own privacy. But this is not always compulsory. It really just depends on how busy the hospital is at that time. My friend was alone in her ward before delivery and after delivery, so you are not sure. Like, sometimes you can have people in you, sometimes it could just be you as well. So after delivery, you if everything is fine, you could be discharged the next day. If they are concerned, you could stay longer, and they'll just check to see that you're okay, you're bleeding all right. And they'll also check your baby. and then you will be discharged and your baby will be discharged. So before you're discharged, your baby is checked for things like jaundice and checking if their ear is working properly, if their eyes are okay, if their bones are okay. Like all of these checks are done with your baby. So before you're discharged, you need to be okay for you to be discharged as a mom, and then your baby has to be seen by like a pediatrician to be discharged as well. And pretty much that's pretty much it from the beginning of the pregnancy till the end. After that point, you'd be seen by your midwife like about 2 times before you are discharged from midwife care, and then you just be booked and seen by your GP afterwards. So basically that's all you need to know if you are planning to have your baby in the UK, or if you just want to know what it feels like to have a baby in England. If there's any other thing you want me to talk about or add, please just leave that in the comment section and I will get back to you on that. I'll leave my email address and my handle on Instagram. You can always send me a message privately, or you can just leave your comment in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do not forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I'll see you in my next video where I'll be talking about my personal experience and what I thought about having a baby here and how it felt for me. I'll also be talking about my birth story. So yeah, don't forget to watch the next video. See you later. Bye bye.